this is a talk that she has done for us, but everyone knows her and everyone loves her. Our own, one of the things I just am so impressed with is how organized she is and how she put everything together for all the weeks that she is away. So basically she just organized every service plan, every service, did everything, and had everything all perfectly arranged before she went away on this, so that we would not run into difficulty. And I'm so appreciative of what she does for us. And anyway, she is going to speak today on Is God There When Everything Falls Apart? As I said before, she is soon to be ordained, and has also said that she's very excited to be enthusiastic to be coming back and bringing everything that she has learned there and for us. And I am think we are all probably so blessed to have her. I know I feel blessed to have her. So anyway, her talk today is God There When Everything Falls Apart? So take it away.
Is God really there when things are falling apart? So this is one of my favorite questions. I could unpack this in so many different ways. So let me ask you this. First, let's take a moment to imagine the most beautiful house or building you could possibly live in. I've had my dream homes come up from time to time. Where is it you would want to go or be that was another extension of your beautiful life? And notice when you imagine this home, this building, this space, notice how it makes you feel. What do the front doors look like? So give yourself 2 big doors, because you'll be bringing your wholeness into this space. Do you have this in your mind yet? Now smile with how happy this spaciousness makes you feel as you look at the building and the doors. Now look into one of your pockets or imaginary purse or the ground near you and pick up the key to those doors. What does it look like? Warm this key up. Get it ready to open to greater expansion. Are you ready to open the doors to your new life? And remember, in this moment, no one else is with you. You are here just for you. This is your event. Is this something you'd really like to do? Do you know how to do this? But here's the catch. As you head towards the doors, a lot of us feel stopped as soon as we get to the doors. There's something inside of us that stops us from even maybe developing the awareness of this beautiful building, of these doors and the doors, and feels like somehow we don't deserve a building that magnificent. We don't deserve these huge, wonderful doors that are ready to receive us. Maybe you are now fumbling with the key because you don't know how to put it in. Where on the doors is the keyhole? So the doors can feel intimidating. I haven't worked with that lock before. I don't know. Can I do this alone? Why am I here even? Or maybe you're hesitating because you haven't even thought of the doors yet to get into your spaciousness, this magnificent space that you're creating for you. So let's now consider that God is that building and always there. I mean, that building is you creating something for you. It's always there to be created, to be experienced. But are you able or willing or know how or willing to move beyond the doors into the spaciousness? Everything you could possibly need is inside. All the healthiness you could possibly have, all the abundance of loving relationships, happiness that you could feel and express in any moment. But A, do you believe it's true? This is possible? B, do you trust this? C, do you feel you deserve it? And D, do you really want it? Or do you want something completely different? So this might explain why people rarely feel that God is there during difficult times, no matter what, because there's nothing stopping you from the spaciousness of the house, as there's nothing stopping you in any moment from the spaciousness of God. God's always within you, through you, around you. You've literally been given the key to access God in any moment, yet most people don't know how. We've talked about it. I've talked about it. Do you remember? Maybe you still don't believe that God is accessible, that you don't trust that God is accessible. Maybe you don't feel you deserve a deeper connection to the one loving source, God. And maybe you just don't want it yet, if ever. To me, this pattern is there in a lot of humans. It represents a lot of our fears and our distrust, our lack of feeling we matter. Are you one of those people who knows at all times, like the great mystics, that God's always there? Absolutely, absolute trust. It's always there doing the best possible things for you. And maybe you don't. Like I would say most people. Let me share something from Truth Unity, one of my favorite web pages. So there's a teacher, and there was no name to this quote that I really love. And it said, "The will of God has never been, nor will it ever be, that we learn through suffering." Yes, of course, we grow in wisdom and understanding when we make mistakes and error choices that cause pain and suffering. But learning in this way has nothing to do with God's will. The more we align our choices with divine principle, love, faith, and trust, the less suffering we will encounter. Love and faith and trust in God are all energies aligned with the nature of our being. And when we choose to center ourselves in these energies and live from a consciousness of them, we perpetuate accelerated spiritual growth and learning from the inner teacher, the loving source. So just to reaffirm this, I want to read another quote, two quotes, one from Letty and Randolph Schmeling, who wrote for Unity years ago. And they said, "The gift of grace is the awareness that the all-knowing teacher of all teachers is always within you." I know this. I wish you did. Maybe you do. And then Charles Fillmore said this: "There is no necessity for knowing the negative. To become proficient in mathematics, it's not necessary that one makes errors." So when we are seated in God or with God, we don't have to worry all the time about suffering, because we know that in each moment we are supported, we're guided how to move through the suffering, how to create new perceptions, how to manage with ease. You might have heard about the golden key at Unity, that when you were going through difficult times, one of the things we need to remember is just God is here. God is here right now. The key is to say the word God, to say the word oneness, loving source, infinite, universal, love, whatever you need to say, remember. Just as in the book, Even Mystics Have Bills to Pay by Jim Rosemurky, again, remembering God opens the supply of God for us. And I have spent years doing remembrance work so that I can be seated in the heart of God. I like extrapolating all the possibilities that lead me to always say, yes, of course, God is always present. I know it, I feel it all the time. Certainly in how I see God, this is true for me. I have to have evolved a relationship, opened myself, surrendered, and said, hello, remembered. If you believe Unity's first principle, that there's one power and one presence through everything everywhere, right? Everywhere, all the time. That means God has shown up in every situation through difficult times, if you believe that first principle. So what this tells us is that the only obstacle to God is ours. It's our own capacity to connect or not to connect. It's up to me to connect to the indwelling source. That's it. Experiencing God is like experiencing any relationship. We need to reach in to be aware of this amazing presence. If you do this work, you will feel it. It just takes time to evolve your relationship. You might think that though in frightening times that, where is God? I'm going through this horrible situation. Where is God in all this? Our minds wander away from the awareness that there's always a presence of God within each of us, that spaciousness of oneness is available to us in each moment. We'd rather stay busy in our mind and in our fears and get stuck in the story than stop the illusions that we're creating and say, God, I know you're there, and I'm going to listen now. Here's what I'm experiencing. Here's what I need. I mean, God already has the answer, but you have to surrender to hear it. There's a philosophy I heard a long time ago. I'm not sure where it comes from, but it assumes that in order to maintain any discomfort, you have to repeat it over and over in your head. Why would we do that? I don't want to suffer, so why would I repeat this over and over in my head? And then we lock it away in the subconscious, and then it keeps repeating on its own. So now we have two obstacles to God. The one is the subconscious that blocks us each day by giving us another storyline. We don't remember it's coming up, but it's coming up. We said these negative things to ourselves, and they've come up. We didn't stop our negative self-talk, and so now it's stuck. And then we also feel that we haven't listened to, we haven't spoken with God. That's our other obstacle. We haven't taken the time to really evolve our relationship. So we've got the subconscious stuff we've layered in there, and we've got this denial of self-love, because we've never taken the time to actualize our relationship. You know, spending time alone with the loving source is one of the greatest gifts. Just 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour. I just spend hours doing this work. Now I have no time, it seems, but I do take time every day whether it's 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes throughout multiple times a day. I know that most people inside, if they knew how easy it could be, would take the time to access their inner resources, the supply of God. I'm reminded of a story of a man. So Sam felt really unsupported. He was having a horrible time at work, and he felt very alone. He was actually getting quite suicidal. He didn't know what to do. And then out of the blue, he gets this phone call. It's his friend Mia. And Mia showed up to say, hey, how's it going? I'm checking in. I heard you had a bad day at work. She knows the work environment in which he's in. Someone had told her, and Sam didn't want to talk to her. He said, hey, come on. I know you're going through a hard time, and I'm here to listen. Take that first step. Tell me what you're going through. And he started unfolding his discomforts for the day. And then he ended up there 2 or 3 hours on the phone, and they were actually laughing by the time he hung up. He realized that being vulnerable wasn't a weakness, that it was a new bridge to connection. The worries he'd felt earlier in the day had dissipated. He understood that reaching out for help or being still when help was offered was his connection to the loving source. He was being given an opportunity. God is present in every opportunity to unfold and to reach the place of safety and security again. He had a wonderful friend reach out to him, and he made space for this. God showed up for Sam through Mia's great kindness and awareness and his ability to say, okay, I'll try. What Sam was really ready to absorb was friendliness. Some of us go into prayer or meditation or just have that conversation, but he needed that, and God gave him time with Mia. A few things stand out for me in this story. We've got friends to help us feel empowered. Sam was open overall to this type of outreach, so that worked for him. He needed this deeply, and he was encouraged to open up for his self-expression. And the indwelling source was here. It was guiding Mia to guide Sam. Through both of them, every relationship takes two energies to come together, to unfold together. But what would have happened if no one had called Sam? What else could he have done? Well, have you ever stopped to check in with God during difficult times? We don't just need to expect God to show up. Check in. Remain inwardly silent and ask God to help you pick up some of these pieces. God, I know you're here, and I'm asking you to help me pick up some of these pieces. God is in my air and in our soil. And within this God, we can get to grow with the roots and oxygen we've been given. We are responsible for our challenges. So we can learn, and we are responsible to call God and feel God's presence by taking the time to do so. God doesn't miraculously just show up unless you are making the call, either deeply, deeply inside, or by making that choice, asking for help. I need help. And then taking some time to sit with your indwelling source. We have a responsibility to ourselves first and foremost. So be willing to ask God for help. God is always accessible, and it can thrive through you. It's really your choice. Do you want to thrive with God? Or are you just going to sit and complain about life? So let's talk about complaints. This is important stuff because too often people will sit and complain. Complaints are what I would call negative communication. So we're seeking help, but we're not actually asking for help. So let's get that into our awareness. Complaint is a seeking for help, the expression of a need, but we're not willing to ask it yet. We're not willing to share it yet or express it yet. So stop any complaints you have or had this week and think, what is it I'm trying to tell myself here? This is negative communication. Let me get a straight awareness of what's going on. I know I'm asking for help somehow. My complaint is a call for help. So seeking attention sometimes is why we complain, because we're thinking someone else can help us. So I'm just going to complain. You know what I mean? So sometimes in order to unravel what we really want, what we really need, we will make a statement that is going to draw someone to us. So if you catch yourself complaining, stop for a moment and ask yourself, what am I really asking for right now? And then you can communicate that with God and ask for what you need. So now that you have addressed your buried need, you can talk to the indwelling source of the greatest intelligence there is. All the answers are there. Reaching in is the greatest human potential. And I'm so grateful for this metaphysical awareness that God is indwelling with us individually, uniquely. It's everywhere through everything, but the indwelling aspect is that which gives us our greatest God potential to express it forward. So here's a possible plan of action. State what is happening and what you are making a plan to get through with right now. So God, I'm making a loving plan for myself and I need your help. I know you're within me and I'm taking a moment now to connect with you as I make the decisions for my plan ahead. I will hear you. I will listen and reform my plan when necessary. If I hit a wall, I'll stop and ask again. So this time, maybe I'll listen a little better. I'll take more time to listen more deeply and truly love myself through this. Here, God is showing up through a difficult time because I am making the choice to call upon God. We know all the stories about how God shows up and people ignore it. But it takes just a moment to remember that God is here. Okay, look, I don't have to be alone anymore. I don't have to go through all this suffering. I'm going to find my answer. Might be a change of perspective. It might feel like a hug. You never know how God is going to answer you. So take time to express and to share and to welcome your indwelling source to guide you during difficult times and to really be willing to listen to the answers. Lately, we know that there's been a lot of war and a lot of tornadoes out there. And my question has been, what can I do? Because I know God's here. So I don't ask that question anymore. But I do know that I want to be a part of being powerful and making positive change for this world. So I had this friend who's also studying to finish her ministry. And she said that there's 3 things that we need to remember during those times when we want to be empowering for others or being called to be. So ask yourself in this moment, can I take action? Can I see myself supportive in this moment? So if you're in a situation where you can bring sleeping bags and blankets and water to somebody in need or a group of people, then do it. That's your action. If you can't, What else can you do? Right? So if, say, in my situation, my mom was taken by ambulance not long ago to the hospital. We didn't know what was going on. Immediately, my action was to go be beside her. I waited for the doctor's diagnosis, and then she had to have surgery. And then I was there to make sure that she was okay getting home. Those were my actions. I knew God was with me the whole time, and I knew that I was being guided to be with her. Taking action can be so important. But when you can't take action, when there's no capacity because something is happening so far away, then you can pray. The power of prayer is so strong. So take action or pray. Prayer is one of the greatest resources to make change, because you're actually talking with God to make change for the greater good of all. It's your fabulous contribution. So never doubt the necessity and support of prayer. But then when you've done the action that you can, maybe you're going to have to donate something because you can't get to where you're needed. So a donation is always a great action. Prayer, you've done your prayer. And now you still feel pretty, now what do? I don't know what else to do, because you feel overwhelmed by what's happening. But God puts us where we need to be. And sometimes you can't be where you would want to be, where you'd want to be of great service. You've taken your action, you've done your prayer. Your service is now to move in another direction, to walk away until you're called again to that situation. Maybe you'll be called to pray again. Maybe you'll be called to donate again. Maybe you will find a way to get to that circumstance to help out. But otherwise, there's a time at which we have to walk away and take care of our lives and our immediate circumstances. This is really crucial, that we don't beat ourselves up for the things that we can't do, that we were not given to do. What is yours to do? I ask myself this a lot. What is mine to do today or in this circumstance? And I listen, because I know God's there, and God is going to help those people or those circumstances in the best way possible for the greatest outcome. And if I'm not engaged in that, then I wasn't supposed to be. So I will make my donation or be present to the degree which I can, and I will do my prayers, and then I will walk away. And then I'll come back for prayer. It's important that we understand where we fit in, where we belong, and where we don't belong. Here's a key statement. Remember that God has never been, nor will ever be, that we learn through suffering. Of course, we grow in wisdom, understanding, we make mistakes. But learning in this way has nothing to do with God's will. We have to align our choices with, again, and I said this before, divine principle, love, faith, and trust, and connect to our indwelling source. So God is present at all times, good, bad, difficult. And our experiences will differ. And cultivating an awareness of the signs of God when we ask God for help is a crucial part of our service, of our comfort, of noticing what we need to do, what we can do next to help us through difficult times or to help anybody. So remember that you are always a part of that, whether you are in the being or the doing, or now it's your time to step aside. God wants us to be available, to express it through us to the best of our potential. It will always come as we need it to be. So remember God by saying it at your center. God, I know you're there. And it is there. Now, having a conversation is how you will experience it more and more. And you will be guided because it's always there, waiting for you to remember it. Thank you.